Have you ever wondered what role video games play in a Christian's life? It's a question that sparks much debate, stirring up a mix of opinions. Video games, like any other form of entertainment, have a place in our lives. But what place should they occupy in the life of a Christian? How do we discern the impact they have on our spiritual journey? As we explore this subject, we'll take a balanced look at the potential benefits and pitfalls of gaming. We'll discuss how video games can, on one hand, become an idol, tempt us to sin, or serve as a distraction. On the other hand, they can also be a source of blessings and even a tool for spreading the gospel. As we delve into this topic, remember, the Bible doesn't directly mention video games, but it provides principles that can guide us. So let's embark on this exploration together, shall we? Firstly, let's consider how video games can become an idol. It's a notion that appears far-fetched on the surface, but let's delve a little deeper. When our leisurely pursuits, such as gaming, start to take precedence over our daily responsibilities and even our devotion to God, we tread into dangerous territory. This is where the lines blur, and what was once harmless fun morphs into a form of idolatry. The Bible, in Exodus 23:5, explicitly warns us about putting anything above God. It's crucial to strike a healthy balance and ensure moderation in all aspects of our lives, including gaming. The key is to prevent our hobbies from becoming obsessions that distract us from our faith and our relationship with God. So, while video games themselves aren't inherently bad, they can become a problem if they start to take the place of God in our lives. Secondly, video games can present temptations to sin. Now, this doesn't mean every game is a pitfall waiting to entangle you, but there are indeed games that can encourage behavior contrary to the teachings of the Bible. Consider this. In the book of James chapter 1 verses 14 and 15, we find a profound insight. Each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Some video games can indeed stir up desires that lead us away from the path of righteousness. They can glamorize violence, deceit, or materialism, subtly luring us into endorsing these behaviors. As Christians, we must exercise discernment and wisdom in choosing what games to play. We should ask ourselves, does this game align with my values? Does it glorify God? Being aware of these potential pitfalls can help us make wise decisions about what games we choose to play. Thirdly, video games can serve as a distraction. It's not hard to see how. They're designed to captivate us, to draw us into their worlds for hours on end. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with enjoying a good game, it becomes a problem when it starts to pull us away from more important things. Consider the story of Martha and Mary from Luke 10:42. Martha was so caught up in her duties, so distracted, that she almost missed out on a precious moment with Jesus. Just like Martha, we too can become so engrossed in our games that we neglect our relationship with God. This is why it's crucial to set boundaries. Allot specific time for gaming and stick to it. Don't let it overrun the time you've set aside for prayer, for reading the Bible, or for loving and serving others. Remember, it's important to prioritize our time wisely, ensuring our relationship with God remains at the forefront. On a positive note, video games can also be a blessing. They can be a source of relaxation and enjoyment. Proverbs 17:22 tells us, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Video games can bring that cheerfulness, lifting our spirits and providing a fun, harmless way to unwind after a long day. Moreover, video games can also be a platform for bonding and building relationships. Think of the countless friendships that have been formed, the countless families that have bonded over a shared love for gaming. Games can create a common ground where people can connect, discuss, and grow together. In a world where isolation is often a problem, these virtual playgrounds can foster a sense of community, camaraderie, and fellowship. Video games are not inherently evil or sinful. Like any other form of entertainment, they can be used for good or bad. When used properly, video games can provide a source of joy and fellowship. Lastly, video games can be a tool for spreading the gospel. Now you might be wondering, how can a digital platform serve such a holy purpose? Well, let's dive in. Just as Jesus used parables to teach profound truths, video games can be a modern equivalent, employing narratives and characters to convey spiritual lessons. Some games even draw directly from biblical themes or impart moral values. Moreover, the online gaming community is a vast, diverse network of individuals. As followers of Christ, we're called to go and make disciples of all nations, as stated in Matthew 28:19-20. This doesn't mean we only preach in churches or on the streets. This commandment can extend to the digital world too. Through games, we can engage in meaningful conversations about faith, challenge misconceptions, and demonstrate the love of Christ in our interactions. As with any tool, it's all about how we use it. Video games can be a great way to connect with others and share the love of Christ. In conclusion, video games are not inherently good or bad. They can become an idol, tempting us to sin and distracting us from our faith. Yet they can also be a blessing, providing relaxation, fun, and even a platform to share the gospel. The key is balance and discernment. When we play video games, we should never allow them to take precedence over our relationship with God or our responsibilities. We should be mindful of the content and ensure it doesn't lead us to sin. We can also use video games as a tool to spread the gospel, reaching people we might not otherwise interact with. In all things, including video gaming, it's crucial to honor God. By maintaining balance, discerning content, and using gaming as an outreach, we can ensure we're keeping God at the center. As we navigate the world of video games, let's remember to keep God at the center of all we do.